Friends, colleagues, anxious candidates, 50 days from now, voting will begin in the 2009 European Parliament elections. Things look good for Liberal Democrats. We have the people, the profile, and the policies to fight our best campaign yet, to make sure that our winning message is heard right across our continent. And that message comes in two parts. The first thing we have to tell people is that Liberals make the difference in Europe, that we are the zeitgeist for change. In the European Parliament, our MEPs deliver the casting vote on crucial issues. On human rights, we voted with the European People's Party to stop the socialists silencing criticism of Russia's rotten record. On anti-discrimination, we voted with the socialists to make sure every citizen enjoys equal access to services and opportunity. And on climate change, we voted to vault over the vested interests of left and right to arrive at a climate change plan to protect the planet. The second thing we have to tell people is that on the issues that matter most, Liberals are on the citizens' side. We've a strong story to tell on the environment, on justice and civil liberties, on Europe's role in foreign affairs. But there is no doubt that the key concern of this election will be the state of the economy. And Liberals must show that we have the ideas to keep this recession as short and shallow as possible. Show that liberalism is not a byword for casino capitalism, that we are not afraid to use the state, that we back an economic stimulus package, investing public money in productive employment, generating the jobs we need, and a European Financial Services Authority to lock honesty, transparency, and the rule of law into the financial system. That we are pressing the European Investment Bank and the Union itself to promote research and development of large-scale green projects, setting up our societies to emerge from recession on the right side of the green technology curve, using the coincidence of Copenhagen and crisis to think imaginatively. Do you know a modern-day Maynard Keynes? And I'm proud to belong to the party of which John Maynard Keynes was a leading light. A modern-day Maynard Keynes would not only put people back to work, insulating every home and school and hospital in Europe. He'd put a sea of solar panels on our roofs, a welter of wind farms around our coasts, solar thermal power stations in sun-rich areas, all feeding in to a high-voltage direct current supergrid for renewable energy. And the Russians would no longer have power over us. And we'd put people back to work, pioneer new technology, and protect our planet. Do you like the idea? Well, pick up the pamphlet. As Mark Twain said of Wagner's music, it's not as bad as it sounds. Because the big challenges facing Europe are consistent across our countries, and so must be our resolve to tackle them. Do you know those young people who burst in earlier? They drew our attention to part of the global challenge of migration. Do you know what they were chanting, what they were shouting? They were shouting, "No borders, no nations." That's a liberal slogan. And it's a slogan for our times, because voters, and particularly younger voters, don't want politics as usual. They want to break with the past. They want to move beyond the false choice between a left uncomfortable with the market economy and a right that remains suspicious of freedoms that young Europeans take for granted. What people want today are parties which pave the way to prosperity and opportunity for the individual. but parties which stand for rights and freedoms and tolerance as well. A market economy, yes, but not a market society. And that's the kind of party, and that's the kind of Europe that liberals stand for. A free economy and a free society, advancing together, hand in hand. So have confidence in that creed, while our opponents stumble over their own uncertainty. And uncertain, I can tell you, they certainly are. Because to our right, we have a European People's Party paralyzed over its choice of candidate for the President of the European Parliament. And to our left, a Socialist Party attacking the President of the Commission, but unable to find a candidate to put up against him. And the Socialists and the EPP have one thing in common. They never miss an opportunity to miss an opportunity. We liberals know what we stand for, and we are happy to shout about it, because we have confidence where others have doubt. Confidence that we are part of the solution, not part of the problem, and that we can bridge the gap between the voter and the need for greater global governance. Friends, that is not only our challenge, it is our responsibility. Because if the reactionary right and the intransigent left are not challenged from the liberal centre, we will all be ambushed from the lunatic fringe, which brings me to Mr. Declan Ganley. Eurosceptic parties like Libertas think they smell blood in the water. They think they are circling the body politic of the European Union, ready to move in for the kill. But it's not just other parties that the anti-Europeans want to finish off. They want to inflict fatal damage on the European Union as we know it. Liberals must lead the counter-insurgency, taking on the anti-Europeans. Because the contours of globalization are drawn in the computer campuses of West Coast America, in the factories of China, in the coal centers of India. And insistence on national sovereignty simply paves the way to global anarchy. Our union is the answer, growing from 6 countries to 9, from 9 to 12, to 15, to 25, 27, and with a queue of countries waiting to join. And I know that today, Moldova, Georgia, and the Ukraine are all in a state of flux, gripped by uncertainty, piloted from elsewhere, contrasting sharply with the security enjoyed by European Union countries today. So while our opponents may suffer from enlargement fatigue, saying that Europe has no more to give, Liberal Democrats understand that we must do what we can to help others, that we will not shut the door on future members of our union, and that in times of crisis, the hand of friendship is needed most. You know, this election is very personal for me, very personal. It's the last that I will fight before standing down as leader of our group in the European Parliament, a group that has doubled in size over the 7.5 years that I've had the honor to lead it. And I look forward to going into the election, shoulder to shoulder with Annemie Nates, a leader whose commitment and care has allowed our party to flourish. Both of us believe that Europe's best future is a liberal future. And both of us know that now is the time to up our game, stiffen our resolve, provide our citizens with a liberal lead. The landscape of European politics is shifting, and at this election, we must show that we offer a different way of doing politics, that we have a platform of policies on which we can deliver, and that liberals are on the citizens' side. That way, together, we will build a more liberal Europe.